How's it going, everybody? Welcome. You are here with me and Tommy. How's it going today on this gorgeous Friday? Um, we are here to talk about what's going on with everybody's stimulus checks, what's going on in the world, because basically it's really important that people really know what's happening and stuff. Tommy, you want to take it away? What's happening?
Okay. What's happening as far as stimulus? We'll start there first, like Chris said. The IRS has recently set out started doing a new round of stimulus checks for those who haven't got them yet. So be patient. They are working on those. And they basically said if they don't have any new update information, about where you live, like your current address, they'll send you a paper check. But if you take care of all the online stuff and the direct deposit, you should be seeing that check soon. So that's one of the things that's going on.
Okay, so we want to talk about that a little bit just because it's important. Basically, yes, just like Tommy said, um, the tax income, child income starts on the 14th of July. So they're talking about, we don't really know yet. We don't have any confirmation yet that how long that's going to be for, because Senator Joe Manchin is also talking about um, not allowing that to go on past this year. So once we get to Christmas, New Year's happens, you're gonna see some changes that may not happen, like President Joe Biden wants it to be reoccurring for another year or permanently, even, right, Tommy?
Yeah, there's like talks about permanent or going for at least 5 years with the child credit. Um, and yeah, so that where some people, like he said, Joe Manchin, don't want to extend it. And so what the talk is about, yes, you start getting your first payment for that child's tax credit starting in July, and then you get one in August, and all the way till the end of the year, and then you'll see your last payment if they don't expand it. You'll see your last payment all at once at the beginning of the year, and also remember this is based on your taxes you filed for 2019 or 2020.
Right, exactly. And plus, they're going off of the taxes. Now, there's a lot of people that are waiting for their unemployment tax refunds. So basically, let's say you didn't work during the 2020 pandemic, right? Well, 2019 pandemic, right? And so you got laid off or you lost your job. Basically, those who got laid off and were on unemployment. Sorry. Um, well, you qualify for that the unemployment tax refund. So the IRS says that they are mailing them out, or if you have direct deposit, basically you guys can get your checks through there. So definitely, I know we know how long the government takes on their stuff. They take a long while, right, Tommy?
Yep.
I
And
mean,
just briefly want to say hi to Bald and Ego. Said hi to us. Yeah, and don't forget on Chris's YouTube, he has super chats available. So if you can, feel free to.
right. That would definitely help us and keep the channel going. And we're gonna keep on going here. Um, those. What is your thoughts for a fourth stimulus check, Tommy? Do you think people need it right now? The way the economy is going, and the way infrastructure is going, the way inflation is going.
The answer is yes. Personally, for me, the answer would be yes. They did recently do another thing also that has to do with what you're talking about now. Is they did do a study where they polled people from the third stimulus check, and just based on that, they're saying, "Oh yeah, this has really been helpful." But you got to remember that was a one-time payment, and that was not including the tax credit for kids. And also, there's some states that also, not all states, but some states have also ended the unemployment benefits. So you got to remember that too.
Right. Exactly. But yeah,
So,
keep on going. Sorry.
so now you have that in your thought process going through your mind there. That some states have that. Uh, so people said, "Oh yeah, this helped me out." Remember, that was just one-time payment; it wasn't recurring. And then remember, there are some states that wanted they've already because they thought that people were getting this stimulus checks and they didn't want to go back to work. Well, that's really not the main reason that they discovered because they took away the stimulus checks of the unemployment, recurring unemployment in a lot of states, and people still were going back to work because the jobs either weren't there or they weren't getting paid a decent wage.
Right. Exactly. 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 That's pretty much so. They really are, and it seems like that. Unemployment checks. I mean, people can't get their unemployment checks, like Tommy said. But what more do you have to say about that?
So yes, like I said, we do need not just another one-time stimulus check. We need a reoccurring check to maybe even to go through the end of this year. And I've heard some reports saying go into at least the end of next year. Because yeah, one-time payment's good, but a lot of people not only you have direct deposit for your banking account, but you also have direct deposit. I mean, not direct deposit, but direct payments for like housing bills, any kind of bills like your electric bill, and any of that sort of stuff. So a lot of people will receive that one-time check, and most of it will be gone by the time they see any of it because it's been used to pay their mortgage, it's been used to pay their rent. So that's why we need continuous. And yes, the employment was good, but at the same time, it's only like 600, and then it went down to 300, and 300, especially in most cities. Now, maybe here in Fairfield, you could sustain yourself for maybe until the end of the year on 300 unemployment. But places like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, LA, and Seattle, it's no way you can pay your rent in those cities at $300 unemployment.
Right, exactly, exactly. Throughout Congress, it's gonna go. They're talking about doing it bipartisan, which means half Democrat, half Republican. What are your thoughts on that, Tommy?
My thoughts are that would be interesting to see that happens. But the last stimulus check under Biden's administration, the third one, not one, as I recall, not one Republican had voted for it. Now, if this actually is going to happen, that'd be great. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, it just does not sound like to me that it's going to happen in that way.
Right. What is the way that's gonna happen?
If it's going to happen at all, they'll have to go through the budget. Trying to remember how to pronounce that word. Budget.
Reconciliation,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
they'll have to use a reconciliation, and yeah, definitely when they use a reconciliation, not going bipartisan because what the government's doing right now, our law, they can't get along on the Republican side or the Democrat side. So basically, since they're not really getting along and reaching to that deal, what does that mean, Tommy?
So basically, with reconciliation is a simple majority vote instead of the 60 they currently need right now to pass anything in the Senate. Um, so that's what that means if they, by going by that route. Because if they did, they need 60. And right now, even Joe Manchin said that he isn't willing to vote for it.
Right. How come Joe Manchin's not willing to vote for it for?
Because he's basically saying that, oh, yeah, the people in my state, they don't want it. That's what he's saying. But they recently just did a poll where 75%, including Republicans in the state, Democrats, independents, As a whole, 75%, that's more than half of the state of Virginia, says yes, they want stuff like for the people out. They want stuff like the reoccurring stimulus check. Over 75% of the population of Virginia. So is he really doing it for the people of Virginia? In my opinion, no, based on that information.
Right, and you have we have months left. I mean, in 2022, the whole election thing is going to come back again to where basically there's a chance that Trump could come back and you know take Biden's job, and so they will lose those seats as well. And so if they lose those seats, they're going to have Mitch McConnell leader again. And so, what does that tell you, Tommy?
That tells a lot because recently, not once but not twice, in two separate occasions, Mitch McConnell has stated in different ways. But this simple way to put it for our viewers to understand is he literally said, "My job is to stop Biden's administration from anything passing." Clearly, that's what he said. So that also indicates that there's going to be no bipartisanship.
Right, and those people that are on SSI, Social Security, SSDI, etc. Well, our hearts go out to you just because I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I have family that have Social Security, and since I have family that have Social Security, right? Well, Biden did promise to raise the Social Security to an extra $200 a month, which we have not seen. What are your thoughts on that, Tommy?
I mean, yeah, that'd be great to people who really need it. Because there's a lot of people that can't work because of physical limitations. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those people. It's just that they literally cannot work because of physical. There are people. There's this story about this guy who can't work because he has seizures. He's prone to seizures, so he's basically unemployable because of that. And there are other people who might be like that who can't work because of physical limitations that may not let them do a job, such
Right.
as operating machinery. And of course, there's other jobs they can do, but there's certain people just like might be prone to seizures or prone to many other things that may not allow them to work as you and me can work.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's right. That's right. I believe that myself, and just because there's a lot of jobs that have gone out of business as well. Like you have lumber jobs, you have jobs in restaurants, etc., that have gone way out of business that could never be brought back again. Where you have Amazon, you have Walmart, you have McDonald's, you have Wendy's, you have all these restaurants like fast food joints going, right? Well, that's great and all, but nobody's going to really want to go back to work just because of earning, of having, like $8 a month. I mean, $8 a paycheck or whatever, an hour. So, what does that pretty much tell you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it pretty much, like I said before, like there are literally, if it is true, um, like I said, don't. I'm just telling you this based on from different stories. So there's a possibility to be true. So it may or may not be true, but there might be businesses out there that are literally offering higher pay to get people back to work. Whether that's true or not is yet to be remained. But that is something that is out there. So there might be some truth to that. But remember, just because you hear about it doesn't always make it so.
Right. But when some of these fake YouTubers, there's very good ones out there that stay up with it. Like I could say, it's Jimmy. If you guys take a look at It's Jimmy, he's a channel that talks about the stimulus, what's going on in politics, what's going on in the news. He's up to date with everything. That's a good channel to look at. And Adam Schneider, There's also a lot of them out there. Like there's this one called LA Late. He's a fake, he goes on there just to have a show, and he doesn't really tell it the way it is. And so it's kind of like some of these YouTubers are actually putting fake news in there just because they want views or they want subscribers, but you're actually lying to your views and lying to your subscribers, people that watch you, because honestly, this to try and get money off of, making money off of YouTube, it doesn't work like that. But obviously, people think it does. But like Tommy said, you got to be telling the truth on somewhat what is. I mean, a lot of things that are going on in the politics, because basically, Tommy's right. We could see an increase of $15 an hour if you go back to work, and a lot of people are, want to go back to work, but also, if the virus were to end today, and if nothing was wrong, the economy, the part to where you're having to pay all this money economically, it's not okay. Why do you think that is, Tommy?
Um, well, because of certain people, are so used to way a certain way, and they're thinking that, oh, yeah, that these certain people should pay a certain amount, and oh, I'm so rich, I don't need to pay anything into the system. Um, but a lot of people, including Jeff Bezos, made a lot of money, which has been proven over and over again by numerous reports that this actually is true. That he literally doubled or maybe tripled his income during the pandemic, and still there are stories coming out about people having workers having to be timed. Literally, they time them when they go on break, and then delivery drivers literally having to keep that package on time, basically do their business in the delivery truck.
Right, right. Exactly. I mean, I could say in December. I mean, people were trying to get a push for more, and this has been in the process for the last year. If people go back to work, they want to see a raise increase of $15 an hour. You know, seriously, that's the way to go. I think me. I mean, to me personally, I'm not a Democrat or I'm not a Republican. I'm out there for me, and I'm a third party. But I have to say that basically, if it was up to me, I would say give everybody at least 20, 25 bucks an hour, just because we can afford it. Um, Here we are sending money from the government. Our lawmakers are sending money to other countries. And if you look at it, people are also getting money from us from other countries. Like if you look at UK, their some of their stuff over there. And if you look at our military budget, nobody asks why. Well, how much? What do we do about the money part on that? People will just send money for our weapons and for our military, but they when it comes to stimulus or child tax, or when it comes to a lot of um, stuff that we need over here in America, right? Well, what happens, Tommy?
They basically say, "Oh, we can't pay for it." It basically is the response that we get over and over again. Oh, we can't pay for that, or we just don't have the time to work on it, or we just have to keep on sending that money over to there, and then also use it in our military contracts, and it's like, um, yeah, so we have money for all that stuff, but when it comes back to people, to getting the real economy back up and going, which is the economy like where people are spending money and they're able to afford stuff. And I'm not talking about luxury items right now because that's a whole nother ballgame. But I'm just talking about the basics like food, paying their electric bill, paying their heating bill, their air conditioning bill, just the basic necessities to keep a roof over the head. That's just not there for some reason.
Right. Well, I mean, why do you see it not being there for?
For me, I see it as um, greed. People just um, see because they've been brought up their entire career going, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that, and no, then these people, oh, they don't need that, they don't need that, and then they also have the mindset of, oh, if we pay our workers more, it will ruin the economy. Um, but there's other countries that have higher wages, and their economies haven't crashed. Like they have the person that said in Canada, um, in Ottawa. Thanks for letting us know about that. Um, and also Finland and other countries in Europe. There's workers that get paid up to $23 an hour, and did their economy go under? No, but they'll say, "Oh, it's because of the size of that country." Well, China has actually been able to play. And there's something that I disagree with in China about how they run the government, but overall, they were also their population is bigger than ours, and they were able to pay their workers to stay at home. They're able to pay pretty decent in some places. I'm not saying all of China, but in some places they were able to pay decent wages. I'm not saying like in groundbreaking wages, but decent wages, even in a place like China or Russia. So the whole thing about this country being too big is just not true.
Right. I mean, that's good, Lou, that you pointed that out. I mean, like Canada is getting $15 an hour. That's good. I mean, you have some of these other countries besides Canada, like UK, you have Ireland, you have Brazil, you have other places that are getting help too. Because from what I get, maybe we need to get Ben in here one day. Maybe we need to get Lou in here one day and Siggy and have them sit down with us and explain how things are going over in the UK. Financially, what how people are doing with stuff over there, or it would be good to have just because to have that feedback, or even Kirsty too. That would be good to have, just because from what we see over here, they're getting stimulus help, okay, and the thing is that since our political, our lawmakers are very what do you want to call it, Tommy? I mean, they're kind of they're what? What do you think?
For me, it's they're driven by money.
Right. Since they're just the politics in this country are off, and since people are after money and it's corrupted, the only one that's really standing up is Bernie Sanders. I like Bernie Sanders, and I like what Bernie Sanders stands for, just because Bernie is going for the fight for the Americans, to where he's fighting for adding more $15 an hour. He's fighting for the child tax refund. He's fighting for more stimulus for people that live on Social Security wages, people that live on other means, and they really can't go to work. You're right about that, Tommy, because it's not just about having a disability. There's people out there, like, especially that in my family, they're old. They can't work. They really can't. I mean, I have family members that personally that live not by themselves, but honestly, they can't ever go back to work because they're old. So they're retired. So what about the retired people? I like how Bernie Sanders is fighting back for the retirement for the older people, the older generation, and because basically you're I mean, everybody says in our economy the government says, and plus Biden is saying, oh, by the way, the country's fine and everything's great. We're making a good, strong comeback really fast. Well, it's not about the virus part. It's not about the virus being gone, which it's not, because they're still having issues because Dr. Fauci is giving, I mean, on two ends of the table, because he's going back and forth, because basically when the virus broke out last year, he knew information that he wasn't giving to the public, and so basically, what do you think, Tommy?
Um, Yeah, like I said, nobody's perfect, and at the time, I do think he was just doing what he thought was best. I'm not saying that he purposely lied. Yes, he misled people, but I don't think he did it on purpose. I don't think he purposely lied to make people not by not wearing the mask in the beginning, because he was worried that people go out buy masks, and then the nurses, the doctors wouldn't have that PPP. And then going back to what you're saying, the elderly people, there's also a provision that also is out there, that is the $8,000 stimulus, and it's for people who have kids, with like or taking care of the kids, like disability kids, or like you said about elder people, like someone who's taking care of their mother or their uncle, someone who has physical limits. There's this $8,000 that they can uh, apply for, by just they'll be getting a letter for that, and the tax credit stuff. They'll be getting letters for that. So, like I said, I personally do not think that Dr. Fauci is a bad guy. He just was doing what he thought was right with their information, with what was going on, because because of the country as a whole weren't prepared and didn't have enough masks ready to go, didn't have enough this stuff ready to go. So in his mind, he's thinking that, oh, I don't want, I'm trying to do my best not to panic the people, but at the same time, he did mislead. And what he could have done is, like what a lot of people did, is make their own mask, because they found out that a double-layered mask is just as good at, I'm not saying is 100%, because no mask 100%, but it's just as good as some of those medical grade masks, the NRA, the N15, whatever those ones are just as good as protecting you from the virus. So basically, having a mask like that is better than no mask at all. So maybe if he had encouraged people to make their own masks, which eventually a lot of people did, then there'd still be a lot of the medical ones for the doctors and stuff.
Right, exactly. I totally agree with you. So, I mean, the question I have to you guys is: do you think we'll see a fourth stimulus check? I mean, um, what Lou said was he was only saying what the former president was saying. Yes, I agree with you a little bit. I do, because I mean, I know that Trump, and I know that Fauci do not get along. I mean, from what I've heard, Tommy, have you heard anything about that? I mean, do they get along or not? Or
Yeah, from the get-go, man. After the pandemic continued to continue after April, where Trump said, "Oh yeah, miraculously going to disappear," and then as we got towards the middle of the year and the summer and stuff, he was trying to. I mean, Fauci had to walk a very fine line, because he still had to get people the right information, but at the same time, he also didn't want to upset Trump, because uh, Trump was looking for any excuse to get rid of him from his position.
right. So, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I don't know what people think. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. People do and don't agree with the vaccine, but what are your thoughts about getting vaccinated? Because that's what they want people to do, is get vaccinated to even go back to work or even go on a flight, go do this, and they're giving um, awards out like kind of like bribes, like money wise, Tommy. Like you can get $1,000 for going back to work for 4 weeks, but you have to have the vaccination. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's great that they're offering incentives like that, but it would also be great if people would um, want to do that on their own. But then also, uh, there are people who physically are incapable, not physically, but health wise, um, may not be able to get the vaccine, but they're still of working age. So are you going to prevent? Are you going to? And on top of that, there's also a lot of people that still want to work for the company that they work for, but they also want to work at home. Um, and like I said, there are people because of medical reasons that are still of working age, but they can't, for medical reasons, they can't get the vaccine. So although that is good to incentivize people who actually aren't capable, um, but are you going to look at those people who medically cannot get the vaccine because of medical conditions? And it's not all medical conditions. There's just certain specific ones. So don't try to think it, you can come up with some cockamamie fake one and say, "Oh, I could get it because of this," and then fake doctors don't know. There are specific ones that are compromised immune systems. Some people have compromised immune systems, can't get it. Some people do have compromised immune systems, can't get it. So it varies, but you have to check with your doctor and stuff. So yes, that's great and all, but should the people who go back to work, who actually go back in person because they can't physically get vaccinated, should they be barred from going back to work?
Exactly, because I think if you don't believe in the virus, that you should have to pay the ultimate penalty not to have a job or not to do this or that in life. If you want to get on a plane, you should be able to. There are people that don't believe in it. And like Tommy said, there are people that can't even take it because a medical issue as well. So, um, I mean, yeah, and they're talking about taking a booster shot with that too, Tommy. Um, like since the virus has morphed into something else, right? And since it keeps on changing and getting worse, they're talking about a booster shot. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've heard about that. The booster shots. Like some places are saying like in December you have to get a booster shot. Um, some people, yeah, and uh, some people because money. But also, there are variances out there. Especially London is, um, I've heard, is having a high rate of variance, and then Japan is also dealing with a surge over there. But they still want to have the Olympics there. But that's for another. We'll get to that topic later. But yeah, so there's all these variances and stuff, and so the original uh, vaccines were created for the just the original virus that traveled all over the world. So if you don't say like in India, they don't have enough uh, vaccines there, then that variant could get out of control and could come back and say someone from America who has been fully vaccinated goes over there. Well, that vaccine may not protect you from that variant.
Right, right, right. So, yeah, and just with that being said, Trump went on TV a couple days ago, less than a week ago, saying since China is responsible for the virus, but basically they should be re-endorsing us for it, and they should be paying for it. What are your thoughts about that, Tommy?
Um, well, right now the working theories are it was animal to human, and then they haven't ruled out the possibility of the lab leak. It could have been created in the lab. That's still a possibility, but what we don't know yet. So as far as maybe the Chinese government, yes, but I've heard from Trump and other people they want to punish all Chinese people. Yes, if it was a leak from the lab, then yes, the Chinese government should be, there should be some consequences for them. But the people as a whole, I mean, the people in Wuhan, as a whole, how many of those people are working in the lab? Did they know that they were working with the coronavirus? So I'm not talking about the people working in the lab. I'm not talking about the people of China. But if the government knew exactly what was going on and it actually got out, then yes, there should be consequences. But as a country as a whole, no.
Right. Exactly. Um, I see a lot happening right now. Everybody's stressed out with the virus. Everybody's going through a lot right now. There are families that are losing their homes. There are single individuals out there that are. If you go in Seattle, Tommy, you've been here plenty of times, even though you used to live around here too. Um, Right. Well, I mean,
Mhm.
if you go down the freeway down to Seattle, you will see people in tents. I don't know about Iowa right now, because I mean, last time I was there, I didn't see people in tents. But I mean, how is it? How is it in Iowa right now? What is going on in Iowa?
Well, I definitely know in Fairfield there aren't any tent cities that because I mean I've been that I'm aware of. I haven't heard anyone talking about them. So as far as I know personally, there isn't a here in Fairfield, but I do know in Des Moines there is. Um, and like Chris says, also LA's seen a spike in tent cities and stuff. But I know like Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, I definitely have heard of that happening. But locally, as I know, as of right now, I have not seen or heard of any tent cities around here locally, but definitely in bigger cities in Iowa. Definitely, I've heard about Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines.
Right. So, I mean, pretty much, I mean, there's a lot that's going on. We're going to keep up to date and come back and talk about a lot more, right, Tommy? This is
Yep.
not it. There's a lot of things that are happening. Um, well, Sugi said there are a lot of many tent cities here in Toronto. Well, yeah, that's what I've heard too, Lou. That's totally what I've heard. And not just, I mean, in Canada, it's happening worldwide too. I mean, from some other people that I talked to in the UK, Dion, she's said that there are a lot of people out there that are struggling as well. I've talked to Ben a little bit. He says people are struggling a little bit too. From what I've seen on his posts, that they've been on lockdown. So, I mean, I want to get people in here and I want to have a big conversation about it where we all can go live, talk about what's going on and stuff in your part, Lou, like in Canada. And I want to talk about the UK, what's happening in other countries, just because it's important for other people to know about it and what's going on, what's happening and stuff. Just because this is not the end. We're not at the end yet. There's a lot more happening. Um, we still got a corrupt system over here. We'll see if we get any stimulus checks because, I mean, I don't care about the money, but I do care about family and friends that struggle. And when I have to give those, I mean, when I um, have to help out, and I mean, yes, I love helping out, people, but I mean, you can't cover everybody and help the whole entire world out. There's only people out there that you can help, right, Tommy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of things not being over yet, even with the slowdown in most of this country, even with the 50% vaccine right now rate, which is nowhere where they want to be by July. But even with that, even with the slowdown, we're still experiencing not as many deaths as we did back in the last year, during the big spikes and stuff. But we're up in the thousands to 2000s. We're still experiencing 500 deaths a day, 500 a day. And so, if you're looking by the quote unquote, what they're calling the actual number of deaths, they're saying that's close to 600,000 now. Now, if you go by some other people who've done an estimate, because not all the deaths have been reported, because like Governor Cuomo, who hit a lot of deaths from the nursing homes, weren't recorded. So they estimated that it's closer to 1 million. So if you add that their estimate plus the 500 a day, we are probably over uh, 1 million. If you go by their estimate about how many were not actually reported, we're probably over 1 million deaths in this country.
Right, and plus there's people that are um what can I say? There, like in the state of Washington and here in Seattle, Washington, there's a lot of deaths still happening. There was just like it was in the locals here to where somebody was at a restaurant and it started gasping for air and stuff, and it was because of COVID and stuff like that too. But I think right now it's way too early for restaurants to open. I think right now it's too early for some of the stuff to open because even though you do have the vaccine, does that really protect you, Tommy?
No, it's not 100%. Um, I mean, all it does is just what the mask would do is it's just another thing that slows down the rate of infection, because there are still people who have contracted the coronavirus after being fully vaccinated. It's not because and it's not because like what people say. Oh, it was the virus. The virus. It was the. Let me rephrase that. Some people are saying, oh, they died because they got vaccinated. No, it's not because they got vaccinated they died. They died because there were something, other complications with their immune system, even after they got vaccinated. So just because you get vaccinated doesn't mean that you can't, what you 100% can't get it. It just means you're going to have a lower risk of getting it.
Right, exactly. I agree with you because I mean, if the if there's a I don't know if there's a morph in the in the virus, and we don't know what's out there still. I mean, people are having complications with this vaccine as well. That's the thing. I mean, you're right. It's not gonna take everything. You're not protected by it. Only by some of the effects by the virus, but you are not protected by it. Don't think you can go out there and just be like, ha ha ha, I can stand next to somebody that has COVID and not get it when you can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, because like I said, uh, it's not that so yeah, it just lowers your risk. It doesn't prevent it 100%, because like in anything in life, there's no such thing as 100% protection. I mean, let's take the condom. They're not 100% effective.
The condom. Yes, that's right. They are not because you can still end up having kids.
Or yeah, if it's not properly, or if it's an old one and not a fresh one, you could still contract a disease, a sexual transmitted disease.
Right, you can. I mean, or you never know what you can get, like crabs. I mean, a woman could get crabs or whatever, or a guy. I mean, you never know. Or um, you're right about that. That kind of threw me off, but it's not an effective. And so, um, have you heard about those booster shots, Tommy?
Yeah, I've heard through all the different things. There's actually a clip out there of some executives that work at Pfizer and stuff mentioning, because of the variants and stuff, that there's a possibility of a booster shot. So yes.
Right. So, like I said, we want to come back again and talk about this because I mean a lot what's going on in the country, what's happening politically, and inflation has really gone up. That's one thing that has gone up, right, Tommy? What are your thoughts about inflation?
Uh, yeah, inflation, and don't let some people tell you that, oh yeah, inflation is, not a big deal, or they overhype it or they underhype it, because if you take inflation and to where it is now, a lot of stuff we are actually, with the amount of money we're making, and the amount of money that people have, like for the rent and stuff, because rent goes up, but it goes up. Uh, it doesn't go up like crazy, like some people say, but it does go up proportionally to the amount of, like, a house cost or the rent or that sort of stuff, but it doesn't go like fluctuate or crazy stuff like some people say out there. So if you hear those type of people, they are not telling you the truth. But the truth about inflation is, let's just say, for example, uh, say you want to buy a car. Now, when I was a kid, cars literally cost around 8,000 to 9,000. I mean, we're not talking luxury cars. Those were still pretty expensive. Those you could spend like $80,000 on, 30,000, 60,000. I'm just talking your basic family car, your basic uh, station wagon, sedan. I'm talking the basic car was, cost around 6,000 to 8,000, and the highest one was like 10,000. Now you add inflation, you got cars at 20,000, 21,000, 18,000, 40,000, but your wages haven't kept up with inflation. Because if it actually has, you would be making that we should all be making like around 25 to $35 an hour, but it hasn't kept up with inflation. And so in a lot of cases, we're actually underpaid but overpaying because of inflation. We're overpaying for a lot of things, that and also some things that are manufactured out of this country. We're overpaying too. If we actually manufactured, like laptops in this country, if we did tablets, iPhones, Samsungs, and a lot of stuff like that, Android phones, if we were to do that, we would actually pay less than what we're paying now.
Right, but I'm talking about basic necessities, Tommy. Like, I mean, you have your rent that has gone
Mm-hmm.
up, I mean, like 10%. You have power that's going up 15%. You have, like, when you go into a store, you're like, I mean, one of the favorite things that I like to eat is top ramen. You know how much top ramen now is at our local Walmart? You know how much it is? It used to be 88 cents, but now it's almost 250 to $3, not 300, but 250 to $3. How bad is that? Or when you go in and buy macaroni and cheese, like another thing that I really like is macaroni and cheese. It's $1. Now it's gone up to 350 here in Washington State, and that's all over too. Think about other places like New York, Canada. Think about Chicago. It's gone up quite a bit. Um, Travel has gone up quite a bit. A lot of things have gone up. It's bizarre, but that's the way it is. Yet Joe Biden says that he doesn't want to tax any of us, and he wants to tax the rich. But the truth of the matter is that we already are being taxed because of gas. Look at gas. Look at how much
Mm-hmm.
gas is. Look at how much it is to go out and get things for your car. Like, I mean, we got to get oil for our car quite frequently, just because we do oil changes and stuff like that. That's gone up too. So when President Joe Biden sits there and says he doesn't want to tax the rich, I mean everybody else, but he wants to do it to the rich. We already are being taxed in a huge way, because not only that, I mean, we're paying for quite a bit and stuff like that, and it's hard to get any help for anybody now these days too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. and like yeah, um, so I was using the earlier example to get into the second into what you're going to talk about. So basically, with my first example, what I was reiterating to that is, um, since these iPhones and stuff are made in these other countries where they can make them cheaply, when we get them back here in America, we are paying an uh, higher price on them, which is it also itself is a tax because, and not to mention your phone bills. That's a tax in itself to get to pay like some bills that like sometimes your phone bills, and so that is just and so people are being told, oh yeah, yeah, you buy this phone, you need this phone, when your price of living is also going up, and you've got like $1,000 phone, which in reality could actually cost more like 700 to $600 if it was made in the U.S. But since it's made elsewhere, we're paying that money for it to be shipped back here and all that. So there's that tax, and then the price of food. And I just looked at the gas at the closest gas station to me. Unleaded, it's almost $4, and it's a little almost $3 for regular.
Right, exactly, 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 and that's way too much. And but I mean, it's gonna go on and up and up and up and up and up and up, and people want it to go down, 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 down. But I mean, honestly, the truth of the matter is I don't see it going down anytime soon. The economic part of it, just because we're still being hit, and um, a lot of people's lives are being affected as well, you know. So, um, yeah, you know, I mean, it's just no surprise there. But we will continue to let you guys, know what's happening and stuff like that. Do you have anything else before we go, Tommy? Or
Yeah, some final words, and like Chris said, we'll continue on. Basically, you know, really look around, and if you hear like just some key words to listen for, if for to be aware of that someone is saying like, oh, like just for example, like, oh, but my gas prices are this at this price. Yeah, but it's going to vary from state to state. So that's one key word, to know that someone is not being upfront with you. And then another key word is they'll use stuff like, oh, everyone else is talking about it like this, and they're like, oh, it's because of, or Biden said this, or someone else said this. Just because someone else said it doesn't automatically make it happen. It actually was said. So basically, to arm yourself, know what is real and what's not real, and that's my wrap up.
right, and I have to say, to all the politicians, out there, that they need to do their jobs right, being corrupted, and pass a bill for the American people, because the American people really need one, and quit talking such a big game and show a lot more action, just because if they don't, nothing's going to get passed, and we're going to, the economy is going to continue to, you know, it's going to collapse. We're in danger of this, economy collapsing really bad, and maybe that's what they want, for things to go down. Maybe things will go down, things will go up. Who knows what will happen and stuff? But I mean, we'll continue to let you guys know. Maybe we'll get Lou in here one day, King Siggy. Maybe we can get Ben in here to all talk about what's going around in different countries. That would be really, really awesome too, just to get an idea, just to share their experiences, or what they've seen from their point of view and stuff like that too. Or even Kirsty. Maybe we can get Kirsty in here. Who knows? Maybe one of these days. You never know. But I'll end it with thank you guys for watching very much, and we appreciate it very much, and we will continue to talk about this a lot more on a normal basis because we haven't talked about everything today, right, Tommy?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that's it. So we will see you guys later. And anything else before we go, Tommy?
Yeah, like Chris said, if anyone out there from a different country that we have that we know, if you want to join us, uh, send me or Chris, hit us up and let us know when a good time and date it works for you, and we will set something up.
Right. And we will see you guys later. Have a great day. See you in the next one, right, Tommy?
Yep. Bye.
Bye.